Hi everybody, it's Kyle Foote here at the Urban Cellar and Market with Kyle's Corner. Today we're talking about Cabernet Sauvignon. What is it? Why is it so popular? And what should you look for in your next bottle of Cab? Let's talk about it. Cabernet Sauvignon is a grape varietal that was born in the heart of France. A lot of people thought for a very long time that Cabernet Sauvignon was the descendant of an ancient Roman varietal known as Biturica. Now, this was proven wrong in the 90s with the advent of DNA sequencing, when it was discovered upon mapping the entire genome of the Cabernet Sauvignon that it was in fact the result of a chance crossing of two other grapes, Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc. Cab Franc, Sauvignon Blanc. Cabernet Sauvignon. Cab Sav. It was right there in the name the whole time. Huh! Hidden in plain sight. Go figure. So, you have this tiny, thick-skinned, highly flavorful grape that was developed in the France countryside in the 1700s, not ancient Rome. How did it become so popular? Well, funny thing is, this wild crossing of two different types of grapes yielded a plant that was incredibly hardy. Cabernet Sauvignon can grow just about anywhere. And when I say anywhere, I mean nearly anywhere. Nearly anywhere. Doesn't do so well with the Arctic or rainforest, but it can grow in just about any other climate. It does very well in temperate environments such as Washington State. It does very well in Mediterranean climates like the Mediterranean in the south of France and Italy, but also in places like Australia. This plant can also develop wonderfully in more moderate climates, and it produces very different flavors depending on where it's located. Now, Cabernet Sauvignon has become the most prolific grape varietal planted across the entire world. Roughly 340,000 hectares of land are occupied by this grape. To give you some frame of reference, that's about 3,400 square kilometers. The state of Iowa covers only 90,000 square kilometers. So if you could take the entire state of Iowa and just lop off its nose, you get an idea of about how big we're talking. Cover that entire landmass in vines of Cabernet Sauvignon from border to border, and you have an approximation of how much there is of this wine in the world. That's a lot of grapes. Oh yeah! Cabernet Sauvignon can do very well in cool climates like Washington State, but it can also thrive in warm Mediterranean climates like the Mediterranean and Australia, right here. Vitis vinifera, that is fancy talk for the vine that grows the Cabernet Sauvignon grape, can invest a lot of energy in growing the delicious fruit. Cabernet Sauvignon, though, waits until late in the growing season to invest in this process, ending up with smaller grapes, but with a higher amount of seeds. Now, they can produce a lot of these little buggers, and they contain a chemical compound known as phenols. Phenols are what are responsible for that woody, brambly note that you might hear some wine enthusiasts talk about. So cooler climate cabs give us this black currant flavor with back notes of mint, sometimes herbal. Some even say tobacco. Going into more moderate climates, we're getting that beautiful expression of fruit, but now with cherry and maybe even a black olive back note. Moving into hot climates, we're getting this beautiful expression of stewed fruit, jammy quality. Some call this more of a basic style of Cabernet, but getting to the essence of Cabernet, really allowing it to shine. So Cabernet Sauvignon, beautiful, hardy plant, can grow in so many different environments, can have so many different flavors. Now you get why Cabernet Sauvignon is the most widely planted red grape in the entire world. Now this is a varietal that I hear folks ask for all the time. Hey Kyle, I like red wines. I want a cab. What I hear when I hear you say that is, hey, I like red wines and cab is easy to stay. What do you got? I understand. Cab is a cool word. It's fun to brandy about at parties. It's really useful if you're in downtown New York on a Saturday night and you're trying to find a ride. Hey, I need a cab. But let's think about it differently. If you come in asking for a Cabernet Sauvignon, I'm going to follow up with, do you want something dark and fruity? I'm going to pour you a Napa Cab. Do you want something that's a bit lighter, more herbal, maybe has a hint of tobacco? I'm going to pour you a Bordeaux. Do you want something that's a bit more refreshing, has those beautiful fruit flavors, but with that herbaceous finish? I'm going to pour you a Coonawarra Australian Cab. So keep that in mind when you're trying your next red wine and when you're looking for that next great pour. And until then, I'll see you in the market. Have a good day. Hey, I like red wine, and I had Cab before, and I remember how to say Cabernet, so give me one of those.